Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from AnthonyMorganti.com, and this is the first ever episode of Photo Critiques. A real popular feature of my website is when I critique the work of other photographers. People send me in some of their photographs and I critique them and give them recommendations of what they could do to improve their photography. And it's proven to be real popular, and I'm told that not only does that photographer get a lot of help with their photography, but it helps a lot of people. So I thought I'd bring it to video form too. So just to start off, if you guys ever want me to critique your work, send me 3 to 10 photographs of your best work to critiques@anthonymorganti.com, and I'll critique them for you. There's no charge. I do it for free, and I'll do a video on it though, so other people could benefit by your work, and I'll probably write an article on the website too. So if you're interested, just send me some of your work right to that email address. Also, if you guys could go down below and click the subscribe button and comment and like the videos on YouTube, I'd really appreciate that. All right, let's start. Our first, in this first episode, we're going to critique the work of Peter Henderson. Peter is a very, very, very good photographer, and I was very impressed with his work. These first couple, he did some still lifes, macros of leaves, and this is really cool. Now, I should start off and say, when you do critiques, a lot of times your personal biases come into the thing a little bit too, and you try not to let any personal bias affect the way you critique a photo. Now, personally, I don't care for this type of photography, but I really appreciate how well it's done. So much so, I asked Peter to write an article for my website explaining how he did this, because I thought a lot of people would like to learn how to do this. So if you go over to AnthonyMorganti.com and you look for photographing, I think it's autumn leaves or something like that, just look around, you'll find it. And it's a great, he did a great article explaining in detail how he does these photographs. Technically, it's perfect. There's no hot spots. It's a leaf with a reflection below of the leaf, and really, I mean, this is a really awesome shot. He did another one also here, and this one in color, and again, it's perfectly in focus, no hot spots or dark shadow areas, and he did a really, really good job. This is a really nice photograph. So congrats to Peter on these photographs. But as I said, it's really not so much my cup of tea. But if you guys want to learn how to do that, head over to the website and you could see the article written by Peter Henderson. It's an awesome article, and I really am appreciative of him doing that for us. This shot here of the couple sheep, it's interesting, and what I find interesting about it is the sheep are looking right at the camera. And what I don't care for the picture, well, or one is my personal bias. I don't care for toned photographs much, but that again is my personal bias. The other thing is, to me, the interesting point of this photograph are the way the sheep are looking right at the camera. The sky isn't super interesting. The foreground, midground, and background are kind of interesting, but not so much as the sheep. So what I suggested to Peter is that he should, hopefully when he shot this, he could have, got closer. And if he did, I think it would have been a stronger photograph of the two sheep staring back at the camera. So that was my recommendation to Peter on this photograph. This photograph, there's a couple issues. I like the framing. I like the layout. Everything here, this leading line of this valley is perfect. I love everything about that. The problem is these clouds, they're blown out up here, and that you want to try to avoid. And I can't adjust it now because this has been processed into black and white. You have to do that with the raw file right from the beginning. Like I could try to turn shadows down, or excuse me, I'm sorry, turn highlights down, and turn whites down, but it's still never going to retain any of that, or to get back any of that detail that was in those highlights, because they're totally blown out. So that was my first suggestion. My other suggestion is, this is very, very monochrome down here. It's just same color, same color. There's a little bit splash of light here and over here, but all this here is a little bit just too monochrome. And what he could have done is, before he converted it to black and white, is you take a brush, and I do this in my Lightroom videos, where the Learn Lightroom 5 videos, I explain how you could take a brush and you could jazz up the scene a little bit by just adding some. It's kind of akin to dodging and burning. Is you kind of just add a little, like here, we're gonna brighten up the valley a little bit here. So we're gonna bring this way. I'm gonna make my brush smaller, and I'm gonna go out this way. And so like this, here's a little leading line we created. Then I do a new brush, and I'm going to bring exposure down this time. And this bright spot right here is, I'm just going to bring that down just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then you do a new brush. You could just keep doing lots of brushes. And as I mentioned, you do this before the conversion to black and white. And you would just lighten some areas, darken some areas. Now in this case, everything is pretty dark, so you're going to want to do some more lightening than darkening. But you just bring things up, and different. That's why you keep doing different brushes, because new ones, because some you might want brighter than others. You don't want just a uniform bright area. And like, let's do a couple more just so you could get my idea. Like, we could bring this tree up here. We could bring up individual trees a little brighter than others. And well, anyways, it would take a lot of work. But I would say, if you spent a half hour to an hour, and you really, what you do is, before you converted it into black and white, you would actually do these in different colors with temperature and brightness, exposure. So you would do different color of temp colors in here, and then when you convert it to black and white, all this would be different shades, and it would be a lot more interesting. Even now, the little bit I did, to me, it's a little more interesting than that. As you can see, that's what I did in like 2 minutes, and that's before. So that's what my suggestion was. These clouds are blown out. You got to avoid that, and to add some interest by putting some dodging and burning down here in this monochrome area. Okay, the next photo is pretty cool. This is a dry lake bed. The sky is awesome. Now in this case, he has no blown out highlights. The sky is perfect. This is a great shot of the sky. But a lot of times when you do a landscape, or most of the time, you want something interesting in the foreground, and there's no really foreground interest in this photograph. Again, what he could do is he could jazz it up a little by doing some dodging and burning. We have some bright spots already in this dry lake bed, but we could just make them a little brighter. Just like here. Just to add a little interest. Could just add a little interest. Then we're going to get a new brush, and we're going to bring exposure down. And I think we're going to feather this one. Yeah, it's good, nice and feathered. And we're going to go like down here, like this. Now we're going to turn this down a little bit. We don't want it that obnoxious. But anyways, you get my idea. That isn't a very good job. But you'd have to take your time and really do it, and make your brush different sizes. And then same thing with these trees as we did in the previous photograph. Lighten some, darken some. You can maybe make this path here a little lighter. So you could just add some points of interest, so it doesn't look all so monochrome. but the sky is awesome. As a matter of fact, Peter might want to consider using Photoshop and selecting the sky and using it in other photographs, because that's a great shot. This shot of Peter's is my favorite. It's just the composition is really cool. The craggy looking tree and the sky here. The only thing I suggested to Peter on this, as I recall, is this trunk is so dark it's kind of blending into the background a little bit. And I know that's a lot to do with the process he used to make it into black and white. But before he converted it to color, converted it from color into black and white, what he could have did is bring exposure up a little bit on this trunk. You know, it doesn't look as good now, obviously, because this is a JPEG black and white. But on the raw file, if he does something like that, he just brings it up a little bit so it's kind of gets separated from the background. Now obviously that looks horrible, but as I mentioned, it has to be done when it's a color shot. And I love the composition. I think this is Peter's strongest shot of all the ones he sent. Although many would argue probably that these leaves are pretty awesome too. But if you're interested again in those leaves, stop over to anthonymorganti.com and look up Peter's article. He goes into great detail on how he does that, and I thank him a lot for doing that. So that's our critique of Peter Henderson. Hopefully you guys got some points. Mainly is to use make sure in camera when you're taking the shot to shoot. I think the way to do it is to shoot this multiple times. Shoot it far away, start moving closer, get some closer shots, and work the scene. That's called. So work the scene, get closer and closer. And the other thing is when you have nothing in the foreground of really any interest, the stuff in the midground you could make interesting by dodging and burning with the brush tool. But again, you have to do that when it's a color photo before you convert it to black and white, and these blown out highlights here. So that's it. This is our first ever episode on critiques. If you're interested again in me doing a critique of your photography, send it in to me at critiques@anthonymorganti.com, and I'll be glad to give you a critique on it. And also, if you again could subscribe to the videos on YouTube and comment and like the videos, I'd really appreciate it. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll be coming up with another critique probably tomorrow. Take care.